Hey guys, this is Sunday morning's devotional. I hope you get to do it. I hope you get to find yourself in church today as well, just worshiping and hearing God's word. That's a really good thing to be doing right now. But we talked today about the beautiful theme of Christmas, and it's encapsulated so beautifully in Matthew chapter 1, verse 23. It says this: "The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they will call him Immanuel," which means God with us. Incredible condescension of God, that God would come himself down to the earth. I think back to the time when we did the devotion yesterday, when God looked down upon the earth, and he said this to Moses. He said, "Moses, I've heard the cry of my people. I've seen the pain that they are going through. And Moses, I am concerned, and now I will come down." I love that thought, that God sees our pain, he hears our cry, and he's concerned. Don't ever think God is not concerned. He's always concerned. But the beauty is that his concern is just not just a, oh, they're in trouble again. He's so concerned that he says, I will come down. He said that to Moses, and he says that to us today. I've seen your need. I've heard your cry, and I'm concerned for you, and I will come down. That's the beauty of Christmas. The same thing happened again. God saw our need. He heard our cry. He was concerned, so he came down himself. He didn't send an angel. He didn't send some super-powered prophet or something like that. He came down himself. From the throne of glory, God came down to this miserable planet who treated him so poorly, misunderstood him, disobeyed him, and eventually killed him. But God came down. Because we couldn't go up, God came down. And I see that in so many aspects in our lives, do we not? The first thing we think is Immanuel, God with us. And sometimes when we're going through some of the storms of life, the first question is thinking to yourself, hey, I'm a Christian. Has God left me? Has God abandoned me? Maybe God's not with me today. He was with me a week ago, but now I've gone through this crisis and I'm questioning in my mind, is God with me? And then we kind of get like Gideon, who said, if God is with us, then how can all these bad things happen to us? You see, that's the good, the good gospel of good works, or the gospel of good news kind of thing, to say God is with you despite who you are, despite your sin, and he is with us. But the evidence around us does not prove that he's not, even when it looks like he's not. We believe that God is, even when it looks like he's not. Think of that in the context of some of the people you know well. Think about Job. Great example, powerful example of somebody who the evidence suggested that God was not with him. The evidence suggested that God may have left him. He lost his wealth, he lost his health, he lost his kids, he lost everything in a very short course of time. And yet he realized there's one thing I will never lose, and that's God himself. God will never leave me. Despite what the evidence suggests, the promise of God tells me he will never leave me. He is with me. He is Immanuel. Whether things are good, bad, indifferent, or ugly, he's still Immanuel, God with me. Now, I don't know what situation you may be going through right now. I don't know what's happening in your life, but I do know this, that no matter what's happening, no matter how sad or traumatic or sad that the incidences that are going on around you actually are, there's one thing you can be assured of. It's not because God has left you. I just think of Peter walking on the water. At first it was so good. He got out of the boat, an act of faith. He walked across the water, and then suddenly as he took his eyes off Jesus, he suddenly sank into the deep water, and the waves were coming over him, and the lightning was flashing, and he was petrified out of his socks. And the first thing I bet went through his mind is, Jesus has left me. He's no longer there. I can't see him. The waves are all around me. The storm is here. It's pouring all around. I can't see Jesus. And yet as he cried out for Jesus, the hand of Jesus was there to lift him and say, Peter, you did well to get out the boat, but sadly you took your eyes off me. But Peter, even if you took your eyes off me, I'm still here. I am still Immanuel, God with you. So don't ever think, people, please, that God has left you. If the evidence suggests otherwise, fight it, because it's a battle that's going on in your mind. God will never, ever leave you, no matter what. Man, I love that thought. It's a simple little Sunday school truth, but it's profoundly impactful for us. Think about it today. Bye-bye.